Well, the Supreme Court ruled today, in an 8-1 decision, Justice Alito being the dissenter, that the inbred types, I don't know that they are, they just appear that way and sound that way to me, so I'm not saying it factually, but at the Westboro Baptist Church have the right, through free speech, to interfere with funerals of our soldiers killed in the line of duty. I knew it would be a tough case, no question about it. Supreme Court has made a mess of free speech in the First Amendment, as it has most of the Constitution, quite frankly. But I would like to ask the 8 justices a question. Not an emotional question, a factual question, and see how that might fit into their analysis. If the Westboro Baptist Church members, all 12 of them, went on public property in a public elementary school, where they're holding preschool, nursery school, and they stay outside, but they go up to the window, and they scream the things that they scream at these funerals, would that be unconstitutional? I'm just wondering, because the court has ruled in classroom cases that you don't have absolute free speech because of, issues like discipline. Now, how are you going to teach kids if they can jump up, say, in high school or middle school or what have you, and start screaming things, claiming First Amendment rights? So if the inbreds are screaming them through the window, or let's say they're 100 yards away from the window, but they're on school property and they're screaming these things at nursery school children, would that matter? What would you do? I'm just curious. Now, you're going to hear a lot and read a lot about this is a great decision for the First Amendment. Let me explain something. I am very much a purist when it comes to the First Amendment, but the Supreme Court is not. The Supreme Court has a variety of tests depending on what kind of speech it is. For instance, if the core part of the speech is political expression, it has a higher test. If you want to limit it or control it or regulate it, there's other forms of speech that are highly protected with copyrights and so forth. Obscenity is less protected, depending on what type it is, like pornography and so forth. Whether the speech creates an imminent threat of danger, clear and present, imminent lawless action, and I already told you about the school situation. So there's all kinds of tests, factual scenarios where the court comes out differently because it's made a hash, as we say, out of the free speech part of the First Amendment, as with most of the First Amendment. And yet, in this one instance, with all those exceptions, with all those tests, they couldn't find one here. I'll be perfectly honest with you. If I were justice, I sure as hell would have looked for one. Or scrap them all. You can't tell me of fidelity to Congress shall make no law regulating free speech that you have complete fidelity to that when you don't. The question is always, where do you draw the line? To what extent can the government intervene? I understand that. To what extent can another party challenge the quote-unquote speech of another party on public property? But it seems to me if disrupting a classroom is a test, then disrupting a funeral of a killed soldier comes close enough. I know I'm upsetting a lot of people who are purists, and I'm saying if the Supreme Court wants a purist test, okay, but they don't. Where are all those tobacco ads on television? They were banned. Our judiciary has upheld those bans. They uphold all kinds of bans on commercial speech. Can't have this kind of ad because it applies to kids. We have bans on pornography. Okay, I got it. And as I said, students are not free in public school or government schools to jump up in the middle of class and attack gays or attack anyone or make demands or what have you, because you can't possibly run a school system that way, can you? So the court makes adjustments. But not here. It was very rigid. I mean, I can't, other than what they've written, which is pretty much pro forma, to be honest with you, I can't delve into everybody's thinking. Look at campaign laws. One of the things the founders clearly intended to protect was free political speech. Yet we have all kinds of rules that apply to free political speech. We have limits on how much you can contribute. They say that's different than how much you can spend. We prohibit certain entities of people, like corporations, from making direct contributions to individuals. Why is that? Because the court decided. That's why. Congress said prohibit it. Court said fine. Why? Well, they just did. And yet that is core political speech, fundamental to the First Amendment and free speech. Yet they regulate it. Why? So please don't lecture me on purity of the First Amendment when I can tell you case after case after case when the court has not held that way. Even though it is one of the aspects of the First Amendment that has been less molested than other aspects of other amendments in the rest of the Constitution. But still, they've caught a muddle, haven't they? Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. Now, let us move on, shall we, to the Marxist segment of the program, which is rather extensive whenever I have to talk about this administration and its supporters. But we have this person called Michael Moore. Michael Moore is on something called Grit TV. You don't know what Grit TV is? Nobody knows what Grit TV is. Hat-tip weasel zippers. I love those guys. Here's Michael Moore. You're going to want to hear this. Cut 2, go.
This country is not broke. State of Wisconsin is not broke. There's a ton of cash in this country, trillions of dollars of it. But it's a finite amount. There is only so much cash. All right? What's happened is that we've allowed a vast majority of that cash to be concentrated in the hands of just a few people. And they're not circulating that cash. If you don't believe that, go try and get a loan right now. They're sitting on the money. They're using it for their own stuff. They're putting it someplace else. They have no interest in helping you with your life with that money. We've allowed them to take that. That's not theirs. That's a national resource. That's ours. That we all have this. We all benefit from this, or we all suffer as a result of not having it. And I think that we need to go back to taxing these people at the proper rates. We need to see these jobs as something that we own, that we collectively own as Americans. And you just can't steal our jobs and take them someplace else.
There's the ramblings of a half-wit and a real punk, this guy. So there's a limited amount of money, and it all belongs to all of us. That is like the elementary school interpretation of the Communist Manifesto. But there you have it. Now, does Michael Moore live as he speaks? Or shall I say, does he live as he slobbers? No. He wants his, baby. He wants his millions. And it's not yours and mine or anybody else's. It's his. Now, I know this for a fact because I remembered a couple of weeks ago commenting on a story in Inside Movies where he filed a lawsuit, and we looked it back up, and here it is. Filmmaker Michael Moore filed a lawsuit in L.A. court alleging Harvey and Bob Weinstein defrauded Moore from at least $2.7 million in profits from his 2004 film Fahrenheit 9/11. The suit claims the Fellowship Adventure Group that the brothers formed specifically to release Moore's white-hot button documentary in partnership with whatever, and Moore agreed to a 50-50 split of profits from the film, but the Fellowship Adventure Group failed and refused to share equally the fruits of the venture as the partners agreed. So he wants at least $2.7 million. Now, his partner said that he received more than $20 million for Fahrenheit 9/11, and he's not entitled to another dime. Oh, I'm so confused. I thought the pie was limited and it all belongs to all of us. But apparently, it all belongs to all of us, except for Michael Moore's 20-some-odd million. That belongs to him. You creep, you moron. Think we're stupid? Why don't you pay more taxes voluntarily? Why are you demanding more money? You got your $20 million. Isn't that enough? And since my money belongs to everybody, so does yours. So everybody write a letter to Michael Moore. Tell him you want some of your money back. He's $20 million. Because it's not his, is it? It's all of ours. What a fecal head. What a complete fecal head. You folks out there who are struggling, there's hope. A no-talent, bloated, pathetic moron made over $20 million hating his country. You can do it, too. If he can do it, anybody can do it. Look at him. All right, let us go to Dennis, Lincoln, New Hampshire, on the Internet. Go.
Mark, pleasure to talk to you again. I sent you some stuff on Philadelphia several months ago. I sure hope
I didn't see it. It's in the pile. Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyhow, I need to tell you about a story that is just so ironic. We live up here in what they call the Great North Woods. There's about 300, 400,000
I love
acres.
that place.
Yes. Anyhow, there's hundreds of thousands of acres that Champion Paper used to own.
Yeah.
They drove Champion Paper out because they shut down the paper industry. And we're driving our snowmobiles yesterday, and I come across a very sacred mountain called Dixville Peak, and there's all kinds of equipment. Now, lo and behold, what they're doing...
Whoa. It's called Dixville Peak?
Correct.
All right, go ahead.
Now...
You're not pulling my leg here, are you?
No. Dixville, D-I-X.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You,
go ahead.
of all people, should know this, because this is where the first election returns come in every presidential election.
Yeah, I kind of ignore it. Go right ahead.
Anyway, running around, they're clear-cutting this mountain. There's equipment, skidders, trucks. They have flagmen stopping people on snowmobile trails. You must wait.
50 seconds.
One of the guys, they're erecting one of these huge windmills that we see on top of this peak. Now, the irony is they chased the paper company out because you can't cut a tree. They're clear-cutting this mountain for the sake of a green job and making these windmills to save energy.
What a joke.
What is the feasibility of the thousands and thousands of gallons of diesel fuel that they're consuming to clear-cut this mountain? They got to make a road 2 miles long to switch back up the mountain.
Dennis, you are so right. You are so right. The environmentalists, among others, are destroying our country right in front of our eyes. You're right, Dennis. We'll be right back. All righty. Let's take another call, shall we? Let us go to Rog, Hutchison, Kansas, the great KNSS. Rod?
Actually,
Wait a minute. Hold on now. Raj or Rog?
Raj, R-O-G. Roger. Okay, I just, tell everybody my short name. I don't know why.
All right.
All right, but yeah, I was just calling. I heard you commenting about Michael Moore, and I tell you what, he is a misery-mongering jerk. Every time something bad happens, or people are suffering, or dying, or starving, or whatever else, he always makes some stupid movie about it and makes millions. He comes out and attacks capitalism so viciously. He's the worst kind of capitalist there is.
It is amazing, isn't it? And he's not alone. You have Bill Maher, who makes a lot of money saying stupid things on HBO and trashing the country relentlessly. You have to understand, these people go to the finest restaurants. They have the finest condominiums. They have the finest automobiles. They're waited on. They don't like people who are not treating them like the kings and queens that they think they are. They love their fame. They luxuriate in this society, and they trash it. They're the most despicable type of people in this country, from my point of view.
It's like they want to curse America and bash everything America's founded on, but they have no problem reaping the benefits of it.
Well, to me, if Michael Moore loves Cuba, then who's stopping him? Get the hell out of here.
Exactly.
The problem is that big slob, he can't handle the lack of toilet paper over there. Thank you for your call. Cecil, San Francisco, the great KSFO. We are loud and clear in KSFO land. Go.
Mr. Michael Moore, I believe, got his start by suing a company he used to work for, a motor company.
Really?
And writing a book.
Tell me.
I believe so.
He sued a motor company? What did he sue them for?
He worked at Buick plant at 22, and he founded a Flint Voice. I'm reading right from Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia. All right, well, there we go. Life and times of Michael Moore, the malcontent, the miscreant. All right, my friend, we'll be right back.